one of the most cool things about these plant-based minerals is there are these two components in their molecules. One is called fulvic and the other is called humic. And the fulvic molecule is very, very small. It's much smaller than a cell. And it's one of the strongest electrolytes known to man. They're studying it all around the world. And it has the capacity to carry 60 times its weight of nutrients, of minerals into the cell, where they are then metabolized by the mitochondria. And then it attaches, binds with bio-waste, it chelates with heavy metals, and it carries them out of the cell. And it actually has, it's actually kind of, it's something they're studying everywhere. Or many scientists are studying it. So the actual definition of an electrolyte is a molecule that has a charge, and it has a specific polarity. So fulvic is the only molecule that they know that can change its polarity from positive to negative. So an electrolyte usually has one, it's either positive or negative. It's an anion or it's an ion, okay? But this actually has the ability to change. And there's a lot of people studying it. There's a lot of research about why they think that it does it. One of the things they have recognized is that it changes its polarity, and in doing that, it actually affects the local pH. And there's a lot of questions about why it's doing that. Why does it change why does it do that, and why does it affect the pH? Well, it affects the pH because that has to do with a positive and negative charge. But one of the reasons that they believe that it does it is because, so fulvic and humic, so humic is this other molecule that's part of plant-based minerals. And the humic molecule is a very, very large molecule. It hangs out in the bloodstream. It's much larger than a cell. It has a huge amount of surface area, and it's also a strong electrolyte, one of the strongest electrolytes known to man. And it binds with free radicals. It binds with bio-waste. It chelates with heavy metals. I describe it as like a Velcro ball that hangs out in your bloodstream. And it literally binds with these things. At a certain point, it gets so heavy in a molecular weight that it falls out of solution and carries those things out of your body through the regular standard channels of elimination. So it is like the natural detoxification element. It's so effective, particularly with heavy metal chelation, that they use it in Superfund sites. They take HUMATE and they put it on where they have heavy metal toxification, and it chelates out all the heavy metals out of the area.
So where have these been? Where have these been this whole time? Why am I just now hearing about these? Yeah.
It's an interesting question. I was talking to Dave Asprey about it, that in the 70s, there was a lot of research being done on HUMATE and on humic. And then it kind of died down, or it didn't kind of, it really died down. And I have a feeling it's because if you look at the research and the papers and different things that were written during that time, they made a lot of claims. They made a lot of claims about it was the miracle and it was going to heal everything, it was going to heal HIV and cure cancer and all this stuff. And the FDA, I think, came in and put a kibosh on it. They really they were like, no, you can't say that. There's no evidence, which is, I understand that. So I actually think the reason that the knowledge about humic and fulvic is coming back is because of the marijuana growers. That's a huge thing in the US now. And do you know who knows about humic and fulvic? The marijuana growers. The marijuana growers use fulvic as a foliar spray because it increases their yield substantially. They use humic because it detoxes, they have problems with a buildup of minerals in their soils, and they have to get rid of them. So they use the humic as a detoxification element. So it's one of those things. In fact, we've been at shows and we have a grower comes up. He's like, yeah, I know all about it. And we're like, yeah. So I think that. I also think that people are looking for a way to take minerals that isn't 50 pills. Mm-hmm. And so as these things, and people have now, there's also, there started to be products. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Fulvic colloids, which also are not a good thing, which we can go into. But the problem with those is, first of all, they taste horrific. So people who've really been into minerals have tried other liquid minerals, and they just taste horrible. They're very bitter. They're very alkaline. They're almost sulfury, really hard to take every day. So yeah, I feel like I've just talked forever.
No. This is, I mean, you're dropping a lot of knowledge that's important to know, from all angles of how these things work, especially these two compounds, humic and fulvic, which I mean, I've never heard of. I can't speak to the audience if they've ever heard of it. And just the fact that these are compounds that sound like they would be good to include into anybody's supplement stack or kind of daily nutrition, only because they're going to help the absorption of these other things.
Exactly.
And then you're going to get the heavy metal detox component of it, which, like I the detox thing is kind of its own story altogether, but
yes.
Anything that you can get that can bind metals, and we're all exposed to metals all the time. Any way that you can get that, at least to the stage where then you put it in the hands of your liver and gallbladder, and then your ability to eliminate things.
Yes.
If you can at least put it there, then sounds like that's the job of that.
Yeah. And the humic, so we talked about humic kind of as that detox element, but it also has another component because it works. These humic and fulvic, they have a symbiotic relationship. And one of the things that humic does in your bloodstream is it chemically interacts with the cells, and it opens more channels in the cell wall. So which allows more of the humic. So as an example, I jokingly tell people, like, I don't drink alcohol very much, but when I do, I get high immediately. Yeah. Like I can have the tiniest amount because my system is flooded with the humic and fulvic. So whatever I put in my body, every single thing that I put in my body is much more bioavailable. And it's important as a biohacker to know that if you take humic and fulvic, it's going to support the bioavailability of every other part of your stack.
Yeah. Really, I don't know if some of these foundational. I was going to say, I don't know if some of these biohackers are ready for that because they're taking a lot of stuff. So it might be like, oh my God, is that what B12 feels like? Holy cow. Yeah,
right, exactly. And this is, we've had so many people who've taken minerals over the years, and then they start taking ours and they're like, wow, I can notice a difference after just 2 weeks. Like they really notice a difference in their sleep, in their energy. Those are the two things that start it's, of course, it's actually depends on every single person is different because every single person has different, chronic issues they're dealing with.